I see you saving a lot of people from this fire, changing their perception so they can walk through fire.
But Catherine's fate was to change the kingdom forever.
Ready for this? I don't have a people, I don't have a home, but I have freedom. Have you ever felt so alive?
How about we start at the beginning?
No matter where you are in life, your future is full of potential. The video clips used in this video are random, but they come to me in order, in a story, and they show answers to questions and your potential future.
Jolie, French for one who is agreeable.
I look back at my life, and all I see are the messes I made. And I ain't got time to fix it.
The following video clips of me were recorded in 2021 after a vision I had.
I was falling down this deep, dark pit. And as I was falling, I also felt like I was falling towards the bottom of the ocean because I was being crushed. Such intense pressure. As I went down this pit, and I was under this pressure, layers of myself were on fire, kind of like when a meteor would go through the atmosphere.
I can't believe this is fucking happening to me again.
Look, we've all done bad shit.
Layers of myself burning off. I saw the earth being dragged into the pit. Layers of the earth started to burn off.
The whole world is about to burn.
It was burning, and I saw people kind of like trying to hold onto the sides of the pit, grasping to get out, grasping onto things, or grasping onto the things of this world. And as they did, they were burning and they were dying. Bottom, it was completely black. I could see because I was the light.
I have found the answer to all our prayers.
I was the diamond. What I saw was all kinds of gems and treasures and diamonds that have never been seen before or discovered. I was seeing all these treasures and undiscovered gems because they were vibrating at this higher frequency, and I was vibrating at that higher frequency because of the pressure and the fire burning the layers off of me. I myself was now this diamond. But if I was down there at the lower vibrational frequency that I was at when I started, it would be a fiery hell, crushing pit of torture. Instead, I saw beautiful treasures in the dark because I was the light. And I understood that as the earth was sucked into the pit, it too was going to become the diamond.
There are powers beyond the universe, so vast
what we're trying to stop.
Sent to me by my sister Becky, April 23rd, 2024.
Dude, I just got this crazy feeling, right? So I was coloring, just like not even paying attention to what I was drawing, and I was just drawing like a sun and the earth, and all of a sudden I drew like flames and stuff, and I realized it looked like the sun like hitting the earth and catching the earth on fire and destroying the earth. And I did not even know or mean to draw that, and I looked at it when I was done, and it gave me like the eeriest feeling.
Stop talking!
When it hits, it will send shock waves. There's something is gonna hit you or hit your life. I saw that there's the structure obliterated. One of these asteroids I'm seeing impact the Earth. Impact, but it could be an impact in your life. It could be, it can be big or small. Or a vulture picking at bones. All of the dead being consumed. The dead in your body being burnt up.
This is what we're trying to stop. All of life extinguished.
Come on! We've got work to do. There's a storm.
Giving this revitalization to your health. There's something about the dead being burned and this new self being risen up.
You'll no longer be beloved celebrities.
I will shatter this silly little battlefield into dust. In a heartbeat, into dust.
You will be wrathful gods.
If we're ever gonna win against monsters, we need to start acting human.
Is it's causing this ice to melt.
You mind if I,
Great country. What's that?
Oh, nothing.
Sure it's not a 1-minute time machine?
Huh? Damn it. Excuse me. Oh, you like theoretical quantum mechanics regarding both our perceptions of time and how we deal with universal spatial geography?
Yeah. What's your favorite part?
Time travel.
Me too.
You are about to meet someone, and they could be talking about some really weird shit. Or it could just be me.
Where did he come from?
I don't know, he sort of popped up at the right moment. And then he spoke about time travel.
Ruby,
You wanna know my secret?
I have the whole universe at my fingertips.
I can do one thing right. With the time I got left, I can't do it alone.
And I'm all on my own. I'd love it if you came with me.
I can't do it without you.
I'm still her mum. I need to know she'll be okay. You'll keep her safe?
I will keep her safe. I promise.
Who are you?
Come on now. What's your shtick? I'm lucky you're hired.
Lucky me.
I like her.
You might feel like a pretty damn lucky person.
Oh, it's amazing. Scary as shit though, right?
I know. Wait, what? Why?
Well, have you read the chapter on practical application?
Well, I haven't actually read that. too busy doing instead of reading.
Doing actual practical time traveling? Have you used that yet?
I don't know. Maybe.
For me?
Does that creep you out?
No, it's actually really beautiful.
You really think so?
Yeah, I've never had a man fight for me before, let alone die for me.
Well, I'm sorry, die? No, I'm still here.
Yeah, not you, exactly, but that's the point of the chapter, right? Time travel's impossible.
No, it's not impossible. I've done it.
No, every time you've pushed that button, you've created a copy of yourself in a parallel world that exists 1 minute in your past. Your original body dies in the genuine or the earlier universe.
Oh?
How many times?
I don't know. Maybe 16?
Okay, wake up now.
I've killed myself 16 times.
You know, the bright side is you're the first successful multiple suicide. It's pretty cool. Hey, look. Let's go back to my place and just forget all about this stupid little murder box.
Murder box?
The suicide machine.
Into the future. You die. You can save her. How?
And at that moment, I realized I was going to die. So the best thing that I could do was just swerve until I drove off the cliff. So that's what I did, is I just followed the windy path until the car was going too fast and it drove off of the cliff. I just accepted my own death. When I drove off the cliff, I somehow found myself outside of the car. But who you once were does have to die.
True, I've been working on this theory for over 20 years, but it's only ever been hypotheses and research ideas. I never thought anyone would.
My focus has been on living in a different reality since I was a child. I'm seeing how this is unfolding. I could say that the way we view reality is all wrong, but it's not necessarily wrong, it's just there's more.
You can control your own metabolism?
Yes. And I can start to control other people's bodies. Also, I can control magnetic and electric waves. Not all of them, just the most basic. Television. Telephone. Radio.
It's amazing.
It's hard for me to put my videos in a sequential order because I get one story and then part of that story is within another story and part of that story is within another story. It's as if I'm in this web of stories where every vertex of the web is a story, like Indra's net of jewels. Each story is reflecting off of each other. Parts of the stories are within the stories. I will see a story come up over the horizon that I didn't see before. So the stories come to me in waves. I'll see a little bit of a story and it's vague. It'll come back around and I see more of the story and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger until I see it in my reality.
All this knowledge about everything, quantum physics, applied mathematics, the infinite capacity of a cell's nucleus, they're all exploding inside my brain, all this knowledge. I don't know what to do with it.
The way that I receive information is that I just understand. Images will come into my mind and I understand how things work or how things are, but I don't know the words to explain what I understand. And so a lot of times I'll understand things in physics, in quantum physics, and there's words for certain things, but I don't know them because I didn't get them from a source. I got them from nowhere. All of these stories unfolding all around me, like at the same time. They're all connected, reflecting off of each other, so I don't necessarily know the order to go in. This made me think of the concept of an all-seeing God that can see everything all the time, all at once.
The sole purpose of life has been to pass on what was learned. So if you're asking me what to do with all this knowledge you're accumulating, I say pass it on. Just like any simple cell going through time.
Time. Yes, of course.
This entire space-time exists in the present moment, and it's become known as the block universe. In the block universe, the past, the present, and the future exist in the same way.
Heavily simplified, relativity says that time and space are not separated, but one connected space-time. When you move through space, you're also moving through the block. This means time passes differently for different people, depending on how they move through space relative to each other. And this also means that what someone perceives as now is a certain cut along the block, a cut that will depend on how fast they're moving. So what you think is now is really only your now. There are many different nows in the universe, and all of them are equally real.
This is how time and space are generally understood, but I'm seeing that change.
Imagine 3 alien spaceships a million light years away. The first one just hovers in space, not moving relative to you. You both experience the same now, the same present.
I had the ability to fly, but it was like brand new to me. I'd never done it before, but I was just able to pick it up as I went. And I was going over like the peaks and the valleys. I would go down into the valleys, up at the peaks. I got to this waterfall, and I remember the water like pulling down towards the earth. I went down with the waterfall.
They're headed into the tunnel.
I'm that kid's only hope, so sit tight and wait for my word.
Dropping in.
That's a negative, Soul Survivor.
According to this, then, the reason why most of us experience events happening at the same time or seeing the same things is because we are traveling at relatively the same speed. But what this means is that if I were to speed up, that events in the past would be current right now. Events in the future could also be current right now.
If you had a magical, instantaneous internet connection, you could do a video call right now and chat about alien things. The second spaceship is flying away from us at 30 kilometers a second, about 3 times faster than a human rocket. It's moving differently through the block of time than you are, which means its now is different from yours. With the magical internet, the aliens can talk to your ancestors in 1924, when humanity was discovering the first galaxies outside the Milky Way. The third spaceship wants to visit Earth and is flying towards you at 30 kilometers a second, moving at the opposite angle of the second ship through the block of time. It experiences yet another now. With the magical internet, the aliens can talk to your descendants in the year 2124.
The idea is that someone else's now can intersect with a now from your past. However, if there was someone traveling at a faster speed, then that means that they could be speaking to me in this moment, according to this video. The reason why they are not communicating with me, or at least I'm not perceiving them communicating with me, is because this moment would have no time. It would be a slice or like a speck, not a continuous moment. So they could not communicate with me through the time that I'm perceiving. I could be face to face right now with someone traveling at a faster speed, and I would not be able to communicate with them or perceive them because I am traveling at a slower speed. What if it has nothing to do with the speed so much, but the angle at which you are looking at something?
So imagine you're looking straight ahead and there's a train going through to your line of sight, say from the left to the right. And on the train there's your friend, and let's call her Alice. Now, let's also imagine that at the exact moment that Alice, who's standing in the middle of the train, is looking straight at you, there are light flashes going off on both ends of the train. Did these light flashes happen at the same time? Looking at the train, that's pretty straightforward. There are those light flashes going off. They both come from sources that are the same distance from you, so of course you see them at the same time. But how does the same thing look from Alice's perspective? The light flashes go off, but while the light travels towards her, she's moving towards one of the light sources and away from the other. So the one path of the light is shorter and the other one is longer. So from Alice's perspective, the light flash from the front of the train arrives earlier than the one from the back. So she would say, no, they did not happen at the same time. And now the important point is that this is relativity. Neither of them is right and neither of them is wrong. They both have an equally valid perspective. They're both right. And if you follow this logic to its conclusion, then the outcome is that every moment could be now for someone. And that includes all moments in your past, and it also includes all moments in your future.
So in this example, the man that's standing outside of the train is moving slower than the girl who is on the train. He is seeing both the events, which could be perceived as past and future, at the same time, but he's actually traveling slower. But the girl who's traveling away from one light and towards the other light sees the events as past and future.
Anything exists now which isn't here. Then, according to Einstein's fourth assumption, this must be the case for all observers. But if all the events that you think happen now exist, and all other observers say that the events that happen at the same time as those events exist, then all events exist now. Another way to put this is that all times exist in the same way.
Every possibility in the universe, everything, past, present, future, exists in superposition, meaning that you can't go out there and find it without being the observer that finds it. Because without the observer, it is nothingness, or it seems like there is nothing. There has to be an observer to be aware of its existence.
It's called the TARDIS. It's a time and space machine.
Is it safe?
No idea.
I don't necessarily think that time is the fourth dimension, but that time is experienced differently in each dimension. According to Einstein, if someone were traveling much faster than you are on Earth, time would seem the same to them. But 1,000 years on Earth could be like a day to them. Because time seems to be a personal experience rather than something externally objective. What I'm seeing is our reality being made up of like panes of glass all stacked up onto each other.
The universe is not a bunch of things evolving through time like in a movie, but a static block in which the past, the present, and the future all coexist and are real.
We're looking at it in one direction. If you think of what is in front of you, like in front of me right now, there is a dorm. If I were to take a slice of that dorm, there would be the insulation, there would be the furniture inside, there'd be the people inside, there would be the insides of the people. And if you went all the way to the ends of the universe with that plane that you're seeing, that slice, that would be one slice. And if you imagine a bunch of those making up the reality around you, then you would also understand that if you weren't looking at it straight on, but instead you changed your angle, you would see a different picture. It would be a different reality.
According to Einstein's theories of relativity, objects traveling at great speeds in 3D space would appear from an external observer to flatten in the direction of their travel. This squishing effect happens exactly in line with this model and is to do with time dilation. However, from the person who's traveling's perspective, they do not flatten, but it is the rest of the universe that warps, and we can see the effects of spatial warping in a computer model. From their perspective, everything would stretch at the edges of their vision, while their destination would seem further away, which is again what this model would predict. The only difference is that in this model we're just exploring a 2D object stretching, so the stretch is only in one direction, while in real life it's 3D, which means it stretches in two directions instead.
time travel, traveling to different locations at really fast speeds, may not be so much about going really fast, but the angle at which you are perceiving.
We are flat pancakes in the fourth dimension, pennies that look round when you look at us head on, but revealing our thinness when we turn away from you. That's a strange thought, but it may just be true.
The following video was recorded December of 2021.
What if the Earth starts spinning at the speed of light? On July 19th, 2020, the Earth had a shorter day because the Earth was spinning faster than it normally did. The Earth used to spin faster and slower at different points in its history. So I thought of the Earth's magnetic field and how it's kind of like a donut shape around the Earth and through the Earth. This shape is found everywhere. So the universe might be shaped this shape. Scientists claim that there's black holes all around us, they're just miniature. So I thought of this image and I thought of it as like a drain or a whirlpool. Or if you were at the outer edges, it would seem like you were going slower. But the closer that you got to the center, you speed up. So as they were talking about the Earth spinning faster, I thought about it as if the Earth was getting closer towards the center of itself, causing itself to spin faster. And anything that you notice in nature, in the environment around you, is fractal, meaning it is the same pattern repeated over and over again, the center being you. You are the DNA of the universe. So you reflect off all the other jewels, which are all the other people, all the other things you see. Everything in the universe is all a reflection of itself. Within the environment, you see the Earth spinning faster on its axis. The universe is spinning faster on its axis. You could say the same process is happening in your cells. So as the Earth was spinning faster and faster on its axis, I thought of it as if it was folding in on itself, going into its own drain or own center. And as it does this, it looks like destruction on the outside of the world. But remember, if you see this on the outside, this would also look like destruction on the inside. So this could mean more diseases being shown in humans. You could also see more activity in the universe, such things like asteroids, black holes, and such. However, the message that I was getting with this was to vibrate at a higher frequency. But it's as if the Earth was traveling around this spiral and going into the center, into that pit. But that pit is dense and tight, kind of like a black hole. If you don't change, if you stay the same as you are now, you would be crushed or like obliterated, or it would be something unpleasant. At a high vibrational speed, then there's something there that hasn't been discovered. This is something we aren't aware of right now. It's like these gems or crystals, and then I thought of crystal, and I thought maybe there's crystal at the center. And then I thought of all these scripture texts that talked about God sitting on a crystal or a sea of glass, and I thought about the vibration of the crystal, and then I thought, what if the universe was the vibration of crystal? And to basically survive, in a sense, going into that pit, you have to vibrate like crystal. What if the center of the universe is crystal? Then I thought about how everywhere is the center. Every person is the center. Again, like this, all reflecting off each other. So then within our bodies, we have these crystal centers in each cell, and it just goes on and on and on, a fractal type pattern. Thought was, is the crystal seeing what's making the universe? Now I always research to see if anyone has thought of these things that I think of. Came across this, is the universe ringing like a crystal glass? You can see where they've drawn this out, like the Big Bang, the singing of the crystal. There's also this entire scholarly article about that very theory. Is the singing dying or going down? That why things are falling apart? According to this article, yes, the universe has a background noise ringing like a crystal, and it has been dying down. It's decaying and it's very small. And I thought, well, we are the crystal. That means that we are not singing. Different religious scriptures, they talk about the glass sea, like crystal. This says, I saw before me what seemed to be a glass sea mixed with fire, and on it stood the people who had been victorious over the beast and his statue, and the number representing his name. They were holding harps that God had given them. And in this one it says, at once I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne stood in heaven, and one seated on the throne. And he who sat there had the appearance of jasper and carnelian, and around the throne was a rainbow that had the appearance of an emerald. Around the throne were 24 thrones, and seated on the thrones were 24 elders, clothed in white garments, with golden crowns on their heads. From the throne came flashes of lightning and rumblings and peals of thunder, and before the throne were burning 7 torches of fire, where there's 7 spirits of God, and before the throne there was as it were a sea of glass, like crystal. Even in the Mormon religion it says they reside in the presence of God on a globe like a sea of glass and fire. All things for their glory are manifest, past, present, and future, and are continually before the Lord. The place where God resides is a great Urim and Thummim. And the earth in its sanctified and immortal state will be made like unto crystal, and will be a Urim and Thummim to the inhabitants who dwell thereon. And this is what I saw in the original vision I had of like this pit, is me going down and burning off layers, earth going down and burning off layers, coming to light and seeing crystals and gems. The earth was a crystal, I was a crystal, I was made up of crystal. I saw like the earth on fire. It's on fire at one angle, and it seems to be the angle that we're looking at it right now. So if you were looking at a fire straight on, but then you turned sideways at an angle, it could look like a different thing than a fire. This is actually giving me some clue on how to see the 4th dimension. When I have done psychedelics, I can see the inside of my body. I've seen the inside of my body when I look in a mirror. Also, I can see the inside of like my hands and my arms. So if you think of the human body as made up of slices of 2D planes, and if you were able to see on the sides of those slices at the same time, you would see the inside as well as what you're seeing on the outside. This is why I think a lot of people see creatures and beings when they are on psychedelics. I see them when I'm on psychedelics. It's because those planes that make up reality, it may look like just a particle to us right now, but if you were able to see both sides of the plane of that particle, then you could see a being that is making up that particle, for instance. We just haven't been able to see beyond what is in the 3D, unless of course you have been able to on psychedelics, or you're a 4-dimensional being watching me in the 3D talk about the 4th dimension. Everything in your reality, if you think of it, it's very smallest particle that makes up what you're seeing, and that there's a whole plane of existence behind it that you're not seeing. If you were to turn your angle differently, you would see a different reality with different beings. And it would appear that you're traveling faster or slower than the beings in this world normally see. I see you going through some kind of fiery threshold. For you to be able to go through that threshold, you have to let go of the definitions of things in your reality and in your past. You have to burn them away. You have to realize that you are giving them those definitions, those meanings, because of the angle that you're seeing that situation at. And so you have to turn and see that situation at a different angle with different meaning. And how you perceive that is going to determine the type of angle that you see reality at. In the front yards of the house, there were these trees that I've never seen before. And these trees had blooms on them that weren't open. And they were about that big. I mean, they were huge. But the way that they would bloom is that the sun would heat up the earth, and it would heat it so hot that it would catch on fire. And when the flames, like the whole tree would be like almost like popcorn, you know, or it'd be like burst into flame, this bloom would, right? And then once the flame went away, there was this big, beautiful flower. As the earth started heating up, oh my God, look at, there's a daddy long leg crawling on me. People, when it would start getting hot, you could kind of tell that the tree was about to catch on fire, to bloom. So people would kind of like gather in awe to watch the tree bloom. And then it would just be like, all on fire, and then these big, huge, beautiful blooms, and they were yellow with orange tips, the flowers were, and a red center. And the last thing I remember is wondering, I wonder what's going on inside the house, because there was these trees also as like house plants inside the house.
I'm getting something about a fire, like a house fire. Something is going to catch fire. I feel like it's your rug or something in your home. You need to make sure your stove is off. Like if you use candles, I'm getting a curtain catches on fire.
I'm unroastable. Let's go.
Let's go. Chop chop, motherfuckers.
We must rise up and take what is ours.
This country is corrupt beyond repair, so we gotta save it.
It is not for those above us to tell us what to believe.
The way she spoke, it excited me.
Not flirting with the radicals. It could endanger the stability of this realm.
His confidence in your weakness is what keeps you safe.
My conscience is clear.
God will never have intended for anything to stand between him and his people. Not a bishop, not a priest, not even a king.
Then you will burn.
You need all four. One dies, she dies. Find them before it's too late.
I saw 4 pillars made from 4 poles. You know how there's a North Pole and a South Pole? I saw like an East and West Pole, and I'm not sure exactly what that is, but they formed like sections, and those sections had a purpose pointed at the purpose. Something about the structure of your body changing like that too. I've seen diagrams of like the magnetic field around the human body, and it's like the poles of the earth. There are poles on the sun, and the sun's poles I know are getting ready to flip within like the next year. And so it could have something related to that.
It's taken me all this time to realize what I'm here to do.
So the structure in your body, along with the structure in society, is going to be rebuilt. That is your purpose. Your focus is going to be on this purpose. Think of Sirius as the brightest star we can see from here. We're going to watch it, and everything, the move that you make, everything that you intake into your body and do with your body, everything that you do is towards this purpose. But this purpose is not fixed. This purpose actually moves, and you move with the purpose. You are flexible, like bending, and you're being told not to turn away from the purpose. Don't turn any parts of your parts away from the purpose.
I'm gonna save the world.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible.
Time may change me.
And once you're through the threshold,
I finally came upon the city that I was going to, and it was more like a village because it had like cobblestone roads. And I landed.
Luck is not a superpower. We are so fucked.
No, we most certainly not fucked.
Never seen anything like this before.
Oh my, Bridgerton! This place is completely mad.
Things seem to be turning more and more supernatural.
Is that a monster?
No, don't be silly. There's no such thing as monsters. They're just creatures you haven't met yet.
As I landed, all eyes were on me. When I moved on the ground, I clicked like I had claws or something. What I noticed is that I could move super fast. It was like when I was walking and...
Seriously, I don't get it. What, you shoot luck lasers out of your eyes? It's hard to picture, and certainly not very cinematic.
People were looking at me like I was so strange.
What's wrong?
But it almost felt like I was on all fours. And then because I remember like them staring at me like, what the hell is that? And I stood up like on my 2 feet trying to act like I was normal. When you look with the eyes of love, you do not see yourself as a victim. You see the situations that were in your past that caused you pain as blessings. You see how they fuel your creativity, and you see how it was necessary for your creation. You're speeding up your frequency to save yourself and save the world, because the version of the world that you will see will match your frequency. And if not, it burns in a pit, and you go along with it. But definitely don't make that the motivation, because anything motivated by fear is what causes you to burn. You can either be on fire and in pain, or you can be the sun. You can be a star.
Fucking welcome.